Well, hi, and thanks for joining me here in my shop on September 21st. There on my bench are two radios. Both of them need a string to be installed. Both of them, I'm intimidated now by both these radios and their strings. So, the one on the left here, I worked on a few days ago for quite a few hours. And I think I explained this on the last video. I just about got it all done and then decided I would just tweak the position of one of the strings a bit and off it came, and it looks like I have to go almost back to square one because there's quite a process to succeeding in getting a string in here. You don't just grab the loose ends and go, there, she's done. I wish it could be like that, but not like that. This one, I've made no attempt yet at doing the string on it. The last video, I did my best to resolve the intermittent problem in the radio. I may have done that. I may not have done that. I'm not sure. I think I got it. Why not spend some time on the string, at the very least, to get enough stuff in my head so I can plan a proper approach to replacing the string. Yikes. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. How far I will get today, well, who knows. I may discover I can go right at this and try to put a string in. Maybe it's not as tough as I imagine it to be. I have found even the simplest of radios are challenging to do a string, particularly if you're not in the right frame of mind to do this stuff, and it gets more difficult as you struggle with it to keep the proper frame of mind. So let's find the ends of the string here. So, okay, here's the pointer. It should be out here. The string goes around this little bobbin here. It's not broken. It goes all the way back to here. Here's an end right here. And the matching end might be up under this wheel here, because there's only one piece of string coming this way. Now, something I noticed, I don't know if I said this on video or not, there appears to be a large spring in here. Is it possible that this is a one-way string? I don't know if I've ever seen one. Look at the size of the bobbin here. It's got room for a lot of string to pile up on it. And the spring, oh, I don't feel any springiness whatsoever in here. There's the other end. Normally, the string is a loop, and turning the knob advances the string through the loop path. The string is often wrapped around the knob shaft a number of times, and here it looks like it's gone around once, twice, and it looks like it should come up onto here. Should come up like this. Go across, come down under, come all the way back. This is where I have trouble. Come all the way back. Come all the way back. I'm looking for the broken end here. Oh, it's up here. There it is. So there's the two broken ends. I'm guessing this pass under here somehow. It looks like there's a bobbin or a place for the string to slide. I just have this weird feeling it goes into the center of this shaft through a hole here. I can't be right, can it? Because when it broke, or when I first looked at it, I could not see how the string gets from here to here. Okay, so lengthwise, looks like if you tucked the string here under and brought it under, it would match this. So how does the string get from under here to over here through this white plastic piece? That's what we got to figure out, because that's the part that disappeared. Now, I just noticed there's also I don't know what to call it, a retaining cord fixed down in here. Let's just see. It might be very hard to see. It's a piece of fishing line. It's running right at the bottom of the pointer. And it's trapped with a pointer. To keep the pointer, I just happened to put it in right. I didn't know that string was down there, or this cord was down here. That's to keep the pointer from tipping forward and then scraping on the back of the glass up here. So, lucky I noticed that. It's not an important thing right now. Nothing to do with the string arrangement. So the bulk of the string is in place, and the pointer will be probably in the right place on the string if I could fuse the string. But how can you do that? Tie a little knot. Tie a little knot, takes up some string, there's no slack, and the knot interferes. If the knot travels through the mechanism here, it will get caught on things, and you can't really put a knot in, which is why the string needs to be replaced entirely. And looking at it, it doesn't look that bad to me now. So the string is joined somewhere in here, and usually there's a spring involved. So I did see a spring. Sometimes the spring is inside inside something like this, but these are much larger. Like if you look at this wheel over here, it's large, and they're actually in this radio. There's no springs back here, but often there are springs right in here, tugging on the ends of the string, or at least one end of the string. One end may be fixed, and the other one under spring tension. Where's the spring in here? Is it in there? I've never seen anything like it, so I wouldn't even know how that would apply tension, or did they manage to put a string on that's exactly the right dimension? I think there has to be some spring grip going on here. Let's put the close-up camera on here and see if we can see what's inside. I see there's a screw there you could take off if you dare. If you dare. Okay, here we go. This guy might have a focus issue with this. There we go. So why did I think it was a spring? Because you can see the metal going around inside. I wonder if that hook, oh, is that the string going around it? Around the hook? Right here. Yikes. There's the string. That's another end. I got three ends. All three of them are in view. How do you get one piece of string with three ends? So there's something going on in here. I'm going to guess this piece is, or something like it, is hooking the string. And what is this? There's more string back here. Is that where the two ends are connected? Right in this clip? Is that what that is? A little like a pressure clip? Oh, it looks like it, doesn't it? It brought the two ends in. One end here, and the other end. Where's the other end? Oh, here's another end here. Okay, I got an even number of ends. That's a little better. So, where was the string knotted? It must have been inside here. It must have brought the two ends in. Except this clip is clipping one end to part of a loop coming out and around. Oh, don't do that. Whoops. Oh, don't take these off yet. And when I turn this, okay, the whole thing goes, spring and all. Looks like you can see the string coming in here. Well, I'm going to stop and I'm going to look for a schematic for this radio, in case there's a stringing diagram, in case I can find a schematic and a stringing diagram, because wow, there's too many loose ends here. Literally, too many loose ends. I really can't be sure of anything. So I'm going to stop for a while, do a little research, see what I can find out about the Prima boy Luxus. Okay, well, it turns out there's a complete service manual for this radio, easily available at Radio Museum. And this is one half of the schematic. I have the other page. I'm just not showing it right now. And if we go to the bottom of this page, voila! Stringing diagram. Here it is. And look, there's a spring sitting out here. Well, that's pretty interesting. Let's take a little closer look at this. So, this part here, so these diagrams, of course, you know, the issue is in 3 dimensions, and this is a piece of paper they've drawn it on, so it's drawn in 2 dimensions. You have to use your imagination to figure out some of this. Where is this located? I didn't see this. I saw this end. I saw this end. I didn't see any spring. You notice they're showing the spring tight to the wheel here when the pointer is on the other side. So obviously as you move the pointer across, the spring travels opposite underneath. So in the same way, the pointer actually blocks the string motion if it should get so far to the pulleys. That creates a safe zone on this string within which you can have the spring traveling back and forth, as long as these wheels are separated quite a bit. Now see, the angle of this wheel is one way. These aren't even wheels. These are just plastic posts, basically. This one's on a different angle. And although in the diagram it looks like this is below, it's not really below. It's swinging out to the side. So it shows the number of loops around. Look, it's pulled inside here. Conceivably, this is all still in the same position because the brake appears to be right here. Where did the spring go? Or is this model slightly different and they managed to incorporate the spring inside here? And it is common to take a string, loop it inside these wheels. This is the tuning wheel, and attach a spring here, pulling it. Now you need a fair sized wheel to do that, and not a little tiny one like this. But if you could pull off the same concept, if you put a spring, like a clock mainspring, kind of going around and around and around, and then hooking the string, and pulling it this way or that way, doesn't matter. Because where's this? The ends here are just string. There's no fitting, no loop, no spring. And you see the connectors they're showing here where they've taken the string around and then squeezed a little metal clamp down onto it, make a permanent connection. I can see those down in here. So, you know, I think I'm right. I think what has happened here is they've done away with this and they've incorporated it in here. Now, why in this diagram with the spring here would they show this looping coming in? Well, you would loop this in because it would really lock the string against the wheel here, so the string could not slip on this wheel. And this wheel is going to the capacitor. So, for instance, on the dial wheel, this they don't really show it, but there's a shaft through here, and then the knob is out front. Well, if you turn this knob and the string slips, it's not a big deal. So what? Maybe you got to the end of the run, and you actually want the string to slip in here. Otherwise, you're going to apply so much pressure, something's going to give. But if it slips here, well, it's slipping right on the tuning capacitor, so everything will go out of whack. The pointer will no longer match the position of the capacitor. So that's got to be why they're doing this, to lock it in. Now, did the spring just fall out of this radio and it's just been lost? Surely to goodness, if it was in there, I would have found it. It would be, if you look, I got to find this wheel. This wheel, there can't be a spring here. I would have found these loops. I would have found these connectors. I would have found the spring. Why did the string break where it broke? It appears to have broken right here. Right where the spring should be. Did something happen and somehow the string broke here and broke here simultaneously, and then this piece, the connectors, loops, and spring and all, somehow escaped the radio and it's gone? That can't be the case. So we don't know really what broke the string here. These look like wheels spinning on shafts. They're not. They're fixed in place. The string where I believe it broke right here. Maybe it didn't break right here. It just travels back and forth here. Nothing's happening to it in the air. I don't know, it could be the case that the string was nicked when it was installed, and that nick over the years finally gave up and broke. Who knows? I can't come up with any reasoning. The reason I think about these things is because sometimes it answers or raises questions that need to be raised, or it answers questions that you haven't even thought of yet in terms of doing this, how you're going to go about fixing this. Let's go back and look at the radio, because I think mostly the string is in place around here and in place around here, and we'll look again at where it broke, and we'll look for any evidence of this spring. So they don't show a spring in here. You would think if there's a spring in here, they would show it. So I think this is an earlier version of this radio. And goodness knows there could be many versions of this. Who knows? There's a note here. Is there any notes? Tensions measures avec Grundig voltmeter. Oh, tension. So I'm talking about voltages. Voltages measured with a Grundig VTVM. Telling you how they got the voltages that they've measured up here. And even if there is something in here about the string, it's not going to be in English. I think they would, anything they would write right next to here. And what did they write? Cord length approximately 670 millimeters. And that's it. Okay, yeah, back to the radio now. Okay. So I have the diagram printed on a piece of paper, which I have carefully put somewhere. Well, it must not be in here. So I can look at the string diagram and look at this at the same time. So we see the string here, broken. Can this wheel move relative to the string? And I don't think it can. I don't think. Oh. happened there. I was able to pull a bunch of string through. You can definitely see the string dropping down through a little hole and going into the whatever this is. I do have the option of taking this off, but at that point, the relationship between the string and the pointer, which is already kind of weak because the string is broken, would be lost completely. Let's tighten this up a little bit here. The other end is right here. So supposedly, with the pointer here, there should be a spring right in here. There's no spring. There ain't no spring. It has to be the case that it's some spring creation in here. And since the string has no tension, the spring will have relaxed. And maybe when I pulled this string out, I was actually winding that spring up a little bit. Oh man. If I can... Didn't see any instructions on what happens, if you have to recalibrate the string, the pointer, the wheel here. I didn't see any instructions on that. But it could be that the pointer, there's some indication on the front dial here for a pointer setting. So often it's a mark that is not supposed to be noticed by anybody but someone like me. And that's probably it right there. That little black square right under the 4.95 is probably a mark. It's probably saying when you turn the capacitor all the way to one of the extremes, the one over here, the pointer should end up right there. Okay, that's fairly good. I like that. That gives me some feeling of comfort here. Now, how am I going to get a new string into there? Or do I try to repair the broken string? Well, I don't know how to repair a broken string. Can you glue it? I can't imagine gluing it. I can't imagine that. It's got to go through things. Again, why did it break over here? So there's enough string here. Well, we don't know where it broke because as you turn the dial, the break point travels up through here. It goes right through all this stuff. Because this actually loops around one more time, I'm pretty sure. It goes like this, comes up. There, you can actually see the string is almost the right length. Now, where's that other wheel? That's down under here somewhere. That the return string is supposed to go through. When I glanced at it, man, it really looked like it was going through a hole in the shaft, but how can that work out? Should be coming out along here. It almost looks like it should come up here where the other part of the string is. Use this, go down, and then there's a part on this wheel here that looks to me like a place for a string to go, and there's no string. Again, we're looking at dark stuff. Okay, so you see where the string is wrapped, and then to the left of it, oh, there's another place for a string. How does the string get to that place? So it would want to come. Well, it would be up. It would come from below that black part, up and over the top. That black part's turning, isn't it? It's turning, but the string maybe it's just slipping by it. Or is it wound on there in a way that it's like powering the string in two places? Is that possible? I've never seen that before. I've certainly seen the string slipping past knob shaft. I've seen that. So would it come up from below over the top and then go along here to meet the bottom here. That looks about right, doesn't it? So you see, you can kind of imagine, you're looking at the shaft there, you can kind of imagine where the string would come out. The other string coming out the bottom, you'd imagine it to come out the top, but it has to come out the proper way for this wheel to drive things in the right direction. Okay, so how does it get over that black thing? How does it get there? It's coming along from, well, I thought it was down deep. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's up very close to the top. Wait a minute. Come along. Close to the top. How does it get past this white piece? Well, I'm not getting something. You know, unless it comes up, like it doesn't show this in the diagram, over top of this white piece, where the other string is. That they would not normally do that. The strings would be chafing there, and they just, somebody would say that's just not a good idea. So the orange piece, there's a hole in the middle of it. See, the thing is, when I pulled the string out, it struck me it was coming out of that hole. For the fraction of a second I got to look at it before it fell out. If it goes through the hole, where's it going? I mean, it would have to, sorry about the focus here, it would have to, it doesn't make any sense going through the hole. The only thing that makes sense is coming over the top, and that's not a double there, is it? It's pretty wide. Picture two strings going in opposite directions in there. Oh my gosh. What is going on? Let's look at the diagram again. So the string's coming back. In this diagram they show an increasing separation here. They don't show the string coming back very close to here. They show the shaft, the tuning shaft, to be, oh, this is really tricky. Like, this is down, this is pointing down. This rises up from the shaft and comes around that wheel. That's exactly what it does. So this wheel is not in the direction it's shown at all. It's actually oriented quite differently. Like, they have a lot of trouble drawing 3D diagrams, and they want to make the string really apparent, especially stuff like that. So this doesn't necessarily mirror exactly how the string runs. Now, this is what I can't find. This is shown on a totally different angle from this, as if they can't be the same thing. If they were the same thing, they would show the string coming along and going over this somehow. And in the way the diagram's drawn, they couldn't do it. They couldn't show the string coming back. It would then go down. It would go down to reach this, but they're going down and end up over here. So this diagram's a little messed up. Or the radio is significantly different in how this is done. They didn't just, when they eliminated the spring here, they went further and made more changes in the design of the radio. There's another schematic. Maybe this is a version. Look at a version number. There's more schematics, more service manuals, more stringy diagrams. Maybe there is. I better stop and look for that. Okay, I did find another version of this radio. I think the schematic I was looking at was for the 210 model, and this one that's on the screen here is for the 208 model, 1967. So here we are. Look at this detail here. Okay, not covering the string. Doesn't show the string things in here. Here we've got, let me shrink this a bit, schematic. All in, oh, here's the English here. And voila! Okay, this is a little different. Spring is gone. Something's going on inside here now. It almost looks like one end is looped and fixed on a post inside here, and the other end, I'm going to guess, that is the spring deal, pulling on the other end. So the two open ends go in here. This could be an earlier model. This is a 608. Maybe putting the spring up here was actually a simpler version that they did later. I'm thinking it's the other way around, but who knows. 208, 210, 208's a smaller number. Here you see the string comes across low. Look, they show it below the pointer. Low. Finds something, comes up, does that around the shaft thing I was talking about. Then goes down here and ends. So actually there's the start of the string, comes out, goes around, goes over the shaft on that separate pulley. It doesn't wrap around, just goes over. Finds this wheel. Where's this wheel? I didn't see that wheel. Okay, let's go looking for that. That wheel. Gotta be that wheel. Look for that wheel. Okay, so yeah, that wheel. So down under here somewhere. Down under here somewhere. There would be a wheel. Okay, now I'm going to fix the focus on that camera because it's going to drive us nuts. So just bear with me a minute while it... Okay, I think we're good there. Under the wheel. There it is. Can you see it? I'll get it. It's just about center of the screen right now. You can actually see on the main white plastic piece above the screw head, you can see the rivet, the plastic rivet technique used to fix the post, the pulley post. So the string comes along, catches that. Very hard to see thing because it's just blocked from view everywhere. There it is. Not everywhere. I can see it down there. Well, how does it come back and get on a wheel in that angle? There's something still I'm not getting here. It's supposed to come back, catch the wheel, rise up, go over the that black wheel, and head where? Where? Let's do it the other way. Okay, comes from the bottom of this wheel, comes over the shaft, down to the wheel. But from there, it's whoops, sorry here. But from there, from that white wheel way down there, how can it start traveling along the front? Did I miss another wheel? Did I miss another wheel? Well, they show the wheel turning this way, so the string can go right out. Same as this wheel. But what I see is a wheel, again, 3 dimensions, in this angle. So, what did I see? I didn't see this. This would have to be directly below the far side of this shaft. so the string will engage properly with it. So it's got to be right down in here again. Let's go look. It should be lined up with the shaft. Perfectly lined up with the shaft. There's the wheel. Okay, wait a minute, that's okay. The wheel's in the right angle, I'm wrong. String comes across, catches that wheel, comes up over the shaft and on its way. Okay, I got the whole deal now. I got the whole deal. I haven't done a thing, but I got the whole deal figured out. Except, you know what I don't have figured out? What's going on inside here. You can see the string coming in. You can see the connector. What's it connecting to? Well, what would that be connecting to? The string's supposed to be continuous through here. The string should be continuous through here. They never showed anywhere on that diagram where it's... No, yes they did. They showed the ends inside here. So that should be the two ends. But didn't I see another connector in there somewhere? Maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. I only see one now. It looks like really the only option is take that screw out. See all the paint on it? They're trying to lock it in place. Take that out. Trust that I can get the pointer in the right place on the string. The string position itself is immaterial except the string ends have to be somewhere. I don't think I can do anything with it like this. Although, you know, the whole string is in there right now, isn't it? Because this comes up the top and the bottom. So this string is currently in the right position. How's that going to help me with a new string, though? It's not. I would have to take that off. I have no idea what's going to happen. The spring could come flying out. You have no idea what kind of jig is in the factory that they used so they could put this together quickly, if they did. Can I poke around with it and figure more out? I don't know what else I could figure out. And it's kind of weird that this is sticking out. This is kind of weird. So wouldn't where the strings are joined, I gotta look at the diagram again. Where the strings are joined. Okay, so they're not joined. They're not joined in here on this diagram. That's the problem. One is terminated and the other one appears to be on the end of the spring. Although this is a pretty weird thing they've shown here. If two things looping around here, you'd have to be very careful about, like this can only be done when the pointer's in the right place, here. I can put it the other way around. The pointer's going to be off the string. We'll start with no pointer whatsoever. We put the string in. As long as we get it in with enough tension, then you pop the pointer on based on the mark on the grill, on the dial glass. Now the other radio I was working on, the old one that's also on my bench, I went through all this. I didn't post any of the videos. I spent half an hour analyzing it, an hour and a half putting it together properly. Only to notice that I had these, see how these are crossed here? Well, that's kind of what I had in the radio I worked on. I kind of crossed these right here, and it was causing a minor problem that I thought in the long run might cause the string to dismount. So I felt I had to fix it. So I tried lifting the loop on the other radio, not this diagram, but it's very similar. Lift the loop, try to pull it out, and then shove it back in and connect it back up. And in the process of doing that, the string dismounted everywhere. Everything came off. Not really back to square one, but I could see square one once again. So I don't want the same thing to happen to this radio. This one's a little different. It is one continuous string with the ends inside here. The only way to deal with this, I think, is to take that screw off. It's kind of suicidal to some degree. Take the screw off, look inside. We don't have any diagrams here about how this is done other than that. That strange, confusing looking thing. Well, what could this be? So if the spring is I don't know what you call it, it wouldn't be a torsion spring? I don't know, it's wound around this way anyway. Well, you would just wind it up until you achieve the tension you're looking for and then hook the string on it. The loop on the end of the string. You know what this looks like? I look at it really closely. Let's just zoom in. We can go zoom in a little more. Tell you what this looks like to me. Now we really get a close look at it. Oh, now we can see exactly what it is. So there's a looped end. There's a crimp blocking the looped end, which is then hooked to what? What? Well, now this is clear, but now this is not so clear. Well, it's got to be looped onto something. So we're going to assume the draftsman thought putting it like this would be enough to say this is the one that goes on the post and this is the one that goes on the spring. But then he couldn't draw the spring in here. He probably tried a couple times and said, son of a gun, if I draw that spring in there. See how he's carefully drawn? Yeah, so you can tell which string is above which string here. He's done a careful job here. But if you put that whole spring in here, for what purpose? It'd be very hard to look at this diagram after that. So he's just done this. He should have put a note, coil spring, and point to it or something like that for people like me. He wasn't thinking about people like me. Probably they were thinking the string will never break in these radios anyway, because the radio's only going to be around for 15 years, if even that. But here it is. Okay, I think I got a plan and an approach. Just like the other radio and like all radios I do now, I spend a long time analyzing the string before doing anything. And I found that pays off big time. In fact, I think I gave a speech, not posted, about if you're going to do a project, let's say you're going to do a 4-month project, you're wise to spend the first month planning the last 3, which to any human being sounds ridiculous. Well, you're going to throw away a whole month. You've only got 4 months to get the thing done. You're going to spend the first month, picking your nose and putting stuff on paper. Come on, get busy, get going. But the get going thing, in the 3rd month, you begin to realize, oh, this isn't going to work out because you didn't think things through. So that's what I'm trying to do here. That's my excuse. I think I reached the end of the road for today. Let's go back and look at the radio some more. Depends on, am I at the end of the road? Depends. Depends on the time. It depends on how I'm feeling. Depends on how much I've done already. Why don't you take a look at that? Take a look at how much time I've spent. If it's half an hour, then we'll carry on. I'll try to do the string. Let me see. Looks like I'm at the 45-minute mark on the video that I've shot here. Next step would be to remove this anyway and see what's going on back here. Try to do it in the least disruptive way, whatever that means. Okay, let's see what's inside there. I can go a little further here before I start wielding the string itself. Get this in focus here. Well, you can look right under there and you can see the string hooked on what looks like is the spring part. Now, this camera angle's doing good right in here. Is this part sticking out so you can get the string onto it, so you can loop the string on it. Like kind of loop the string to it like it is now. Where's the other end of this string? This is the, oh, just stabbed myself. Come on. is at the end of the string there. Let me get a grip of it. So I'm trying to figure out what I've got a hold of here. Is this the part that goes, freeze this, to the spring? It's not moving it. Okay, if it's not that part, is it this part? Moved a little bit. Maybe I don't have to take this apart. Let me just make a loop. If I only knew which string. So I've got the stringing diagram, so I shouldn't be so afraid to peel this apart. It's got to come apart at some time anyway. So I de-looped this guy. Well, that seems pretty solid. Okay, so that would be the lower string. We can call it the lower string. The upper string would be here. Just get a grip of it. Okay, is that on the spring? Yes. Upper string on the spring. Lower string must be on some kind of a post or hook or something in there. Now, how could I redo this? It's over this way. Let's turn this. Can we? Oh, there's a loop coming right up. Why isn't? You know why it's not coming out? It would come out. It's not coming out because the crimp is getting caught in the slot. It's not hooked up to anything anymore. And the other string, it's just a leftover end, I would say. Oh boy. So can I take this off in such a way I can put this wheel back on exactly the way it is? I can move this all the way to a limit. There's a limit there. Okay, won't turn any further because the capacitor is closed in this case. Why did I even do that? I can't remember why. Oh yeah, that's right, because I want to know if I can. Hope you didn't fall off your chair just there. I'd have to I'm just worried about getting, there's something more going on with this screw and whatnot. Is that washer spun in behind? I don't think so. No, the washer's on there. I'm trying to preserve the string as long as I can, just in case there's something I need to know that I don't know yet. It's really the kind of spring that you could hook, you could have the ends of the string joined somewhere else in the system, like on the lower string, where that spring was shown on the other diagram. You could tie a knot there, have a continuous string in here. What you do is you just push a loop down inside and get it hooked on this spring. Get a fair bit of tension with it, too much movement on this spring. Let's try. Does the spring have to go around 4 or 5 times to? I think I'm unwinding it that way. Yeah, which way is this spring? So the spring should be pulling on the string. The spring should be pulling this way, so you would wind it up the other way. You wind it up this way. Uh-oh. Well, it's not much of a spring. Looks to me like I'm unwinding the spring when I move it that way. That wouldn't make sense. You'd wind it up so it pulls in the direction of its hook. I think I just took the string off it. No, there's a string on it. And then this is the one that's not hooked to anything. Actually, it's caught. So, did you see as I pulled the string through how much material just kind of flew off the string? The string is weak, it's disintegrating. Now we have only one string on there to look at. This one is the reverse spring-loaded string. Could the spring get broken in here? It just seems to be flopping around. And then this piece down here coming up. In case you're wondering why I seem poorly coordinated, I'm looking at a TV screen while I do this. I'm not looking at the actual item. It's a little too small. I think we got to take, no matter what, we got to take this screw out. See if I can pick out this paint here. Not too hot. There goes some. Probably enough out of there now. Okay, here goes nothing. This could be the end of this radio right here. Not with that screwdriver, it won't be. How about this guy? Oh, that screw is as loose as could be. It's loose. Now, is that because that's kind of how they don't want it too tight? It's going into a metal. I think it's going right into a metal shaft, so you could tighten it right down. Okay, don't have everything fall apart all at once. You want it to fall apart piece by piece. So, screw out, washer out. What do we got going in there? Okay, so we see a spring. It appears to be a one-time around spring. No, maybe there's two loops of it. Let me try moving it now. Yeah, I think the spring is not connected to anything. I mean, it's just flopping around. Not only is it flopping around, it's coming right out. So there's another hook on the back side of it. It probably should be in this slot. No, that's the string catcher. That one is the string catcher. This thing back here. Come on, point to it. I can't. There. This one is the string catcher. There's two string catchers. It's just like the other radio. Well, what happened to the spring? How is it? Yeah, where'd it go? Okay, it's down here now. Let's take a look at the spring itself. Okay, we can release the string from it. Well, just looking at it, it's kind of obvious that this is supposed to dip through the black housing and catch. Probably through a hole, probably through one of those string hook slots. And if the spring rotates the wrong way at all, oh, a little bit of magnetism here. This would just come loose like it did. You got to fit this in and keep tension on it, or it'll just fall out again. And we just have to assume that it just goes in one of those holes there, one of those big gaps back here. Well, this whole wheel's ready to come off. Does something lock this wheel on? Now you can really see the string grips. There's no key in there. What's keeping it locked to the shaft? Well, the shaft has, looks like teeth on the front of it here. Yeah. So you tighten it down, these teeth bite into the plastic. I didn't see any evidence of it biting at all. Well, they never tightened this down enough. I think you'd see some marks. It's got to be what's going on though. I don't think, like, nothing else fell out, or no washers, nothing fell out. Okay, it looks to me like the position of this is immaterial. All you got to do is get the string on, get it on properly, get it on tensed properly. Drive the string to one end, fix the pointer on the string, and you're back in business. Sounds easy. But I'm definitely worn out here. I don't think I want to try pushing myself any further, or kind of ruin my day. You know, in my world, when things go well in the shop, I feel good all day. And when things don't go well, I have something to think about all day. Yeah. Okay, that's it for this. Now I've got two radios here. This one further along in the process. Maybe I'll switch back to this one tomorrow. We'll leave this one. I don't know what I'm going to do. So thanks a lot for watching. These are fiddly videos. It's fiddly work. What you can learn from me on this is patience and process is really important in success in doing this, even though I haven't been successful yet. Success is still further down the road, but I'm on my way. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will wield the strings on one of these radios, maybe both.